let's draw the curtains and have a look at a star map. Well, this is our evening sky for August. It's amazing to see in the southwestern sky how far towards the horizon the Southern Cross has already travelled. I don't think I've had a chance to look at it since it was in the southeastern part of the sky back in about February or March. Been quite a photon less a few months for my eyes anyway. As we head towards the west, the constellations that kept us company during autumn, like Virgo and Corvus, are setting in the west. In the northwest, we've got Arcturus and Corona Borealis getting quite low in the sky. Further to the north, Hercules, Vega, directly to our north, and the Cygnus, the Swan, with a lovely double star here, Alberio. Pegasus is starting to show its head. Before we know it, you'll all be looking at Andromeda, very, very low in the northwestern sky. Up high over our heads, we've got the Milky Way. Northern Hemisphere listeners, eat your heart out. You can't see this part of the sky in the northern hemisphere over your head. Absolutely glorious, especially with Jupiter and Saturn up there as well. NGC 253 in Sculptor is starting to rise in the east early enough in the evening to get a good look at it later in the evening. And of course, the large and small Magellanic Cloud are also rising in the sky as well. Let's zoom out of that. And right, the moon. If you've been out the last couple of nights, you'll have seen a very bright moon up in the sky. So between now and the 11th of August, we've still got bright moon in the evening sky, dark sky from about the 12th of August through the 25th, and then we go back to a moon in the evening sky between the 26th and the 31st of August. So get your dark sky in between the 12th and the 25th. Our lunar feature of the month. This month, I chose the Hyginus Rill and Crater, just sitting about here. So this is your first quarter moon. If you draw a line from there, so around about the 5th or 6th day is the best time to have a look at it. Here's the Rill and the Hyginus Crater, plus incredible view. Lots of features in this area that I'll describe in just a second. As I've said before, best viewed on day 5 and 6 after the new moon. This month, it's August 24th, 25th. There are 3 major Rill systems visible in this picture. Tresnica over here on the right-hand side. We got the Hyginus Rill right here, just to the right of centre, and then Ariadaeus on the left-hand side here. It's very convenient that all 3 of these are close together in the same part of the moon, as it allows us to have a look at rills created by 3 different geological processes. The Tresnica Rill, this one over here, were probably created by stretching of the basalt fields between Mare Vaporum to the north and Sinus Medii to the south, just below here. The land was pulled as the mass of basalt slumped and settled into the depressions. Then the Hyginus rill is quite different. It's 220 kilometers in length, and it was created by a series of volcanic eruptions. Hyginus crater at the center of the rill, just there, is one of the few non-impact craters on the moon. It's a rimless, collapsed volcanic pit, 10.6 kilometers in diameter and 770 meters deep. You will want to fall into that. The Aridaeus rill on this side was created by slumping of the land between two parallel faults. So you could almost think of this, you know, if future astronauts, they could go racing down that escarpment. Be really good fun. Hyginus crater, little one here. The center of the rill is one of the few, as I said, non-impact craters. Agrippa crater is named after a Greek astronomer who observed an occultation of the Pleiades in 92 AD. That's this crater here. You can see the little central hill, and that's 46 kilometers in diameter and over 3 kilometers deep. And the last feature that we'll talk about here is Godin crater, or Godin, named after a French mathematician. Slightly smaller, 35 kilometers in diameter and 3.2 kilometers deep. So that's even slightly deeper than Agrippa over here. So you can see just by looking at this region that it's just, the moon is more than just a collection of craters. And I encourage you to get out there and observe the moon when you don't have much else that you can look at. A great Jupiter observing activity coming up this Friday night. Hopefully the sky will be clear. You can see the red spot will be visible around about 7 o'clock in the evening. That's the time when Europa starts to transit across the face of Jupiter. That starts at 18:49 Australian Central Standard Time, and about an hour later, the shadow of Europa begins its transit. We move up to 11 minutes past 9, and Europa's shadow is now crossing the meridian of Jupiter, so it's right on the central meridian there. Europa, you can just see it just there. It egresses, comes off of the face of Jupiter at 36 minutes past 9, and then the shadow leaves Jupiter as well at 22 or 46 minutes past 10. Sorry, I got tongue twisted. Right, double star of the month. Looking straight up near in Ophiuchus, 70 Ophiuchi is one of my very favourite double stars. I don't think I've seen a pair of stars that show such a beautiful gold colour in the eyepiece of my telescope. Absolutely glorious to have a look at. William Herschel comes up again and again and again in all of these deep sky objects that I keep referring to. He catalogued 70 Ophiuchi in the late 18th century. It's a very close system to us, only 16 light years away. Both components are a spectral class K, which makes them quite orange, and they're very close in size to our own sun at 0.9 solar masses. This one is a really good one for all telescopes, big or small. At the moment, if you look at the orbit here, the stars are separated almost at their very widest, 4.9 arc seconds apart. So almost any telescope will separate them. Best magnification around about 100 times. And here's Scorpius. There's the teapot, and as we come over here to Ophiuchus, the red circle identifies 70 Ophiuchi. Go out and have a look at it. It's a gorgeous sight. Here's a challenge deep sky object for you. The globular cluster Palomar 12 in Capricornus. Again, very high up in the sky at this time of the year. You'll need a 10-inch telescope and above to see it in a dark sky. If you look up here, it gives you a integrated magnitude of 11.7 for the globular, for the stars. But the individual stars, the brightest stars, of magnitude 14.6. This is not an object that, if Phil Stephen, if you're watching, or Paul Martinatis, don't try and observe this from the city. You're never going to see it. But get out in a dark sky and have a good look at it. Because it's small, make sure you use a good high magnification, at least 150 times, to be able to start resolving it. And whilst you're in the area, in Capricornus there, have a look at the globular cluster M30, which is much, much closer to us and very easy to see. And, of course, the glorious Helix Nebula just over the border into Aquarius. Is a map out of Stellarium. Here is where Palomar 12 is. Capricornus M30 sits about here, and the Helix Nebula sits about there. Hopefully, you'll be doing this on a different night when there is no moon in that part of the sky at all. Thank you. That's all.
Well done, Joe. Just checking out the questions, if there are any. I'm just looking through. Oops. Got to go back there. Right. Let's have a look here. No questions tonight. Must have dazzled them with brilliance. Joe.
Well, I'll encourage everybody to get out there and do some observing when you get a clear sky.
Well done. Well, thank you once again. Very informative. Actually, funnily enough, I was looking at Hadley's Rule the other night when I was just setting up to image tube, and I thought I'd have a quick look at the moon, and I was amazed at the detail that could be seen even just through about 12 mil. So, yeah, great. So on to the next thing. Mary, where are you? How are we? You're finally here. Well done. Greetings. This
Hello.
is Mary, the secretary, people. And
can you hear me?
she's got yes. I've got a she's got a report and let us know what's going on around the society. So take it away, Mary.
Thank you. Just a quick one tonight. First of all, we've got 650 members. Now, you would have seen on ASA chat that I sent out an email regarding the upcoming elections, the nominations for council positions. So they are going to be out in the September bulletin. I have also sent out the form to be downloaded on ASA chat. I encourage everyone to think about a position on council, change things up a bit. So yeah, send it to me, either email and scan it back to secretary@asa.org.au or to our postal address. It's on the forms, but I'm just letting you know so you don't have to wait until the September bulletin comes out in order to fill out the form. I need them by October 1st. Please put a photo in with your with a bio, and voting opens in November. I think the 6th of November. So yeah, I'm hoping to get lots of nominations come through. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Well done.
No worries. Thank you.
Glad you could make it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So there was one question here from for Joe. If we could just go back quickly. The question was, let's have a look if I can. Are there any lunar features that can be observed with binoculars, Joe?
There are quite a number of them. Obviously, the larger craters like Copernicus, Tycho are easily visible in binoculars. The crater Aristarchus just before full moon. On the eastern side of the moon is very bright because it's a very young crater. So again, very easily visible in binoculars. The feature that we call the Bay of Rainbows near the crater Plato is also very easy to see in binos. I'd suggest that Artemi get himself a map of the moon and see how many features can be picked up with the binoculars. But certainly all the seas, what we call the mare, all the lunar seas are easy to see. And as I say, lots of craters are large enough that can be seen in binoculars quite easily.
Well done. Thank you, Joe.